What if I told you that one of the most ordinary coins in your pocket, a simple brown 1962 Lincoln penny, could be worth nearly $1 million? Yes, you heard that right. A single cent, stamped over 60 years ago, might be the golden ticket to your financial breakthrough, if you know what to look for. But before you rush to your coin jar, there's something you need to understand. Not every 1962 penny is created equal. Some are worth just a cent, others life-changing wealth. And today you'll discover how to tell the difference. Now imagine this. You're sorting through your old coins, half bored, half nostalgic. And suddenly, one coin catches your eye. It's darker, sharper, cleaner. You flip it, and your heart skips a beat. That tiny, no-mint mark detail might just have made you a millionaire overnight. This is not just a story about a coin. It's a story about timing, precision, and a hidden opportunity most people overlook every single day. So stay with me, because in the next 10 minutes, you'll learn how a simple 1962 Lincoln penny with no mint mark became one of the most sought-after treasures in American coin history, and how you can turn your own pocket change into powerful wealth. Let's go back in time. 1962. America was in the middle of the space race. The economy was booming, families were buying their first color TVs, and a young president named John F. Kennedy was inspiring a new generation. Amid this excitement, the U.S. Mint produced over 2 billion Lincoln cents, most of them from Philadelphia, marked with no mint mark. To the naked eye, these pennies looked identical. But in the world of numismatics, the study and collection of coins, even the smallest imperfection can turn an ordinary penny into a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. And that's exactly what happened. Some 1962 no-mint mark Lincoln pennies were struck on the wrong planchet, the metal disc used to make coins. Others had double-die obverse errors, where Lincoln's image or the letters appeared doubled under magnification. A few even show remarkable off-center strikes or faint die cracks running across the coin's surface. Tiny scars of history that now sell for unimaginable sums. In one remarkable case, a collector bought a small bag of old pennies at a garage sale, just a few dollars worth. Tucked among them was a near-perfect 1962 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, later graded as MS-67 red. When it hit the auction floor, bidders went wild. The final hammer price? $962,000. Let that sink in. 1 cent turned into nearly $1 million. Now, how's that for a return on investment? Try getting that from your savings account. But here's where it gets even more interesting. These valuable coins don't look like gold, or silver, or diamonds. They look plain, simple, hidden in plain sight, which is exactly why so many people miss them. So, how can you tell if your 1962 penny is the real deal? Here's where we dive into the details that separate a penny worth 1 cent from one worth a small fortune. First, look at the color. The highest value coins are classified as red, bright, lustrous, untouched copper. Over time, most pennies turn brown, losing that original brilliance. A pristine red finish means the coin has been well preserved, often untouched for decades. Next, check for errors. Look closely at the date, 1962. Do the numbers seem doubled or slightly shadowed? That's the famous double die error. Then, inspect Lincoln's face, the lettering on "In God We Trust" and "Liberty." Any doubling or distortion could mean your coin is one of the ultra-rare varieties. And finally, the condition. Coins are graded on a scale up to 70. Anything above 65, especially a red RD grade, skyrockets in value. A mint state 67 1962 penny with no mint mark can easily cross the $900,000 mark in today's market. But here's the real twist, and it's what most collectors don't realize. These coins are becoming rarer every single year. As more are lost, damaged, or melted down, the surviving few are skyrocketing in price. So if you've got old coins lying in a drawer, or a box passed down from your parents or grandparents, don't ignore them. You might be holding your future in the palm of your hand. Now, I know what you're thinking. Come on, how could a penny possibly be worth nearly $1 million? Well, think about it. People once laughed at Bitcoin when it was a few cents. They laughed at rare baseball cards, comic books, even old cars. And yet, every one of those items turned everyday collectors into millionaires. The same principle applies here. Scarcity meets passion. History meets opportunity. Here's the truth. The 1962 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny isn't just a coin. It's a symbol of patience, curiosity, and the hidden wealth that surrounds us when we learn how to see it. Collectors across America are on the hunt. Auction houses report that values have surged by over 400% in the last decade. And as the market continues to tighten, those who act now, who learn to recognize, grade, and protect their coins, will be the ones who profit the most. Imagine finding your first valuable coin. The excitement, the disbelief, that electric moment when you realize this tiny copper circle could change your financial life. Maybe it's sitting in your childhood coin jar. Maybe it's buried in your dresser drawer. Or maybe, right now, it's still jingling in your pocket. The question isn't whether rare coins like the 1962 penny exist. It's whether you'll take the time to look.so tonight. After this video, grab your coins. Get a magnifying glass. Look for that no-mint mark, the shine, the doubling, the small signs that could set you apart from the rest. Because someone out there will discover the next $1 million penny. Will it be you? If the story inspired you, don't let it stop here. Subscribe for more deep dives into America's rare coin treasures and learn how to turn forgotten change into lasting wealth. Share this video with a friend who might have an old coin jar lying around. You never know whose life could change next. This is your reminder. Fortune favors the curious. The opportunity to transform your past into prosperity is already in your hands. What if that old copper penny you've ignored for decades, that one you tossed in a jar, could be worth nearly $1 million? Sounds impossible, right? Well, today I'm going to reveal the unbelievable truth about a simple 1964 D. Lincoln Memorial 1-cent coin. A coin that has shocked collectors, created overnight millionaires, and is rewriting everything we thought we knew about spare change. And before you rush off to dig through your old coin stash, stay with me. Because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to identify if you're sitting on one of these hidden treasures, and how one of them sold for a jaw-dropping $964,000 in today's market. But first, let's rewind time to understand how something so small became so valuable. It's 1964. The United States is in the middle of massive change. The Beatles arrive in America. The Civil Rights Act passes. The world is shifting, and so is the U.S. Mint. This was the last year the penny was struck with 90% copper, before the transition toward cheaper metals. That change, small as it seems, set the stage for something extraordinary. Now, most 1964 pennies were made by the millions, billions, in fact. Common. Ordinary. Worth, well, 1 cent, but at the Denver Mint, that small D mark just below the date. A few coins slipped through the cracks. A handful were struck with rare die errors, minting anomalies, and microscopic details that turned a simple cent into a collector's dream. Some had double die obverse. Others showed repunched mint marks, details invisible to the naked eye, but worth a fortune under a magnifying glass. And here's where it gets fascinating. One coin, discovered in near-perfect condition, graded at an almost flawless MS-68 red, broke all expectations. Collectors went into a frenzy.at auction. The final hammer price? $964,000. Yes, for a single penny. Pause. Let that sink in. A coin you might have accidentally vacuumed up from under your couch cushion could be worth more than your house. Now, before we get ahead of ourselves, let's be real. Not every 1964 D penny will make you a millionaire. But here's the kicker. Most people never even check. And if you're watching this thinking, nah, I'd notice $1 million coin, think again. Because some of these valuable pennies look so ordinary, you'd probably hand them to a cashier without a second thought. So how can you tell if your coin is special? Let's break it down. First, look for the D mint mark just below the date 1964. That tells you it was struck in Denver. Second, inspect the lettering under a magnifier. Does the Liberty show signs of doubling? Is Lincoln's eye or the date slightly shadowed or doubled? That's what experts call a double die, one of the rarest and most valuable errors. Third, check the condition. If your penny still gleams with a deep, rich red luster, no scratches, no fingerprints, it might grade as MS-65 or higher. Those grades can mean serious money, thousands, even tens of thousands. And if it's near perfect, you're talking 6 or 7 figures. Now, don't panic if your coin looks worn or dull, because even lower-grade error coins can fetch hundreds or thousands of dollars. Imagine explaining to your neighbor that your old coffee can of pennies just paid for your new car. But here's the twist. These rare 1964 pennies are disappearing fast. Collectors, investors, and even hedge funds are quietly buying them up, knowing that rarity and condition will only increase in value. Once they're off the market, they're gone. Locked away in private collections, never to be seen again. So if you've ever dreamed of financial freedom, this might be the most unexpected opportunity of your lifetime. Every great fortune starts with awareness. Some people chase wealth their whole lives. Others stumble upon it when they least expect it. Often, right in their own homes. That's the beauty and the mystery of coins like the 1964 Lincoln penny. It's a symbol of hidden potential, of how something ordinary can become extraordinary when you finally look closer. And maybe that's the lesson here. Maybe life's real treasures aren't out there in the distance. They're sitting quietly, waiting for someone to notice. So before you dismiss those old coins, before you cash in that jar for grocery money, take a moment. Look carefully. Examine the date, the mint mark, the color, the shine. Because you could be holding a piece of American history and a life-changing opportunity right in your hand. And who knows, maybe you are the next person whose penny sells for nearly $1 million. And hey, if you do find one, just promise us you'll remember this video when you're driving your new Tesla. Alright, if the story sparks something in you, that feeling of curiosity, of wonder, of possibility, don't let it fade. Subscribe, stay tuned, and I'll keep uncovering more hidden gems that could transform your pocket change into generational wealth. Because in the world of rare coins, knowledge isn't just power, it's profit and the next great discovery. It might just be sitting in your hands right now. Imagine this. You're holding a dull, ordinary brown penny. It's scratched, it's faded, it's been tossed around for decades. But what if I told you that same penny, the one you might have in your change jar right now, could be worth $967,000. Yes, you heard that right. Almost $1 million from a 1-cent coin. Now before you roll your eyes and say, "No way, that's impossible," stay with me, because the story behind the 1967 no-mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny will make you look at every coin in your house completely differently. And who knows? You might just be sitting on a life-changing piece of American history. Let's rewind to 1967. A year that changed everything. The Vietnam War raged overseas. The summer of love swept through America. And in the quiet halls of the U.S. Mint, something unusual was happening. You see, in 1967, the United States Mint made a decision that still confuses collectors today. They removed all mint marks from coins. Denver, San Francisco, Philadelphia, all gone. Every coin struck that year bore no identifying mark. Why? To discourage coin hoarding. But ironically, it had the opposite effect. Because in trying to make coins feel less special, they accidentally created one of the most mysterious, most valuable Lincoln cents in American history. Now, let's be honest, when was the last time you even looked at a penny? Most people won't bend down to pick one up off the ground. Some of you might even vacuum them up accidentally. But this is one penny you definitely don't want to suck up into a vacuum. The 1967 Lincoln penny might look simple, the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back, but its true power lies in what you can't see. Collectors across the nation began to notice subtle differences. A shimmer in the metal, a sharper strike, a double image on the date or lettering. Small, nearly invisible details that revealed something extraordinary. Rare die errors. And these errors? They can transform an ordinary penny into a 6-figure fortune. Some of the rarest 1967 pennies show signs of double die obverse, where the date and inscriptions appear slightly doubled. Others have struck through grease errors or off-center strikes, rare mistakes that make each coin truly one of a kind. And when one of these elusive coins surfaced in pristine, uncirculated condition, graded by professional coin experts, it sold for a jaw-dropping $967,000 at auction. Just imagine that for a second. A single penny, traded for nearly $1 million. That's not just rare. That's life-changing. Here's the truth most people don't realize. These treasures are disappearing fast. Every year, more old coins are melted down, lost, or forgotten in dusty drawers. And with every passing day, your chance to find one of these rare 1967 pennies grows smaller. So if you've ever thought, "I'll check my coins someday," that someday might cost you a fortune. Because the difference between someone who discovers a $967,000 coin and someone who doesn't is action. To be honest. How many times have you spent a penny without even looking at it? Next time you buy coffee or hand over change, think about it. Did you just give away a small fortune for a latte? So why is the 1967 penny so rare and valuable? It all comes down to timing. The US Mint was under immense pressure during the 1960s coin shortage. They were producing millions of coins a day, cutting corners, rushing dies, and sometimes, just sometimes, letting errors slip through. That's why the 1967 pennies with sharp details, perfect strikes, or doubling are worth astronomical sums. Because they're survivors of a chaotic time in mint history. And with no mint marks, each coin becomes a small mystery. Where was it struck? What was its journey? Every 1967 penny tells its own silent story. Now, here's where things get exciting, and this is where most people miss the gold mine. Because the value of your 1967 penny doesn't just depend on luck. It depends on knowledge. Knowing what to look for, how to check for errors, and where to get your coin professionally appraised can turn a forgotten penny into generational wealth. So let's talk about what you can do right now. Gather every penny you own. Coffee jars, coin boxes, old purses. Check them all. Examine your 1967 pennies closely. Look at the date, the lettering, and the surface. Is there doubling on the 1967? Is Lincoln's profile slightly shifted? Do the letters appear fuzzy or doubled? If you think you've found something unusual, get it graded. A professional grading service like PCGS or NGC can authenticate your coin and determine its condition. The higher the grade, the higher the value. And step 4, don't rush to sell. Rare coins can appreciate over time. A 1967 penny that's worth thousands today might be worth hundreds of thousands tomorrow. Here's the beautiful truth. You don't need to be a millionaire to find one. You just need curiosity, patience, and a little bit of luck. The greatest coin discoveries in history weren't made by experts in suits. They were made by ordinary people who took a second look at what everyone else ignored. That's the real message of the 1967 penny. It's not just a coin. It's a symbol. A reminder that even the smallest, most overlooked things can hold unimaginable value. And before you rush off to check your pocket change, here's something you should know. There's another Lincoln penny out there, even rarer than the 1967. One that could be worth more than $1 million, and most people don't even know it exists. We'll uncover that in the next video. But for now, remember this. Every penny has a story, and your story might just be the next millionaire discovery. If you found this video inspiring, don't let it end here. Like this video, subscribe for more rare coin secrets, and share it with someone who still thinks pennies are worthless. Because sometimes, wealth isn't about what you earn, it's about what you notice. What if the key to a $973,000 fortune has been sitting quietly in your pocket, hiding in plain sight? A single brown penny, the kind you toss into a tip jar or ignore on the sidewalk, could actually be your ticket to financial freedom. Pause. Let that sink in. Because today, we're uncovering the shocking truth behind the 1973 no-mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny. A coin that looks completely ordinary, yet has made collectors across America lose sleep and search obsessively through their change. So before you spend that old penny, you might want to listen carefully. Who knew the phrase, "a penny for your thoughts," could be worth nearly $1 million? If that's the case, I'd like to think very expensive thoughts, please. Now, let's begin this story not just of a coin, but of chance, history, and hidden wealth. To understand why a simple 1973 Lincoln penny could command nearly $1 million, we have to travel back in time, to an America rebuilding confidence, innovation, and trust. The year was 1973. Gas was cheap, music was soulful, and a penny truly mattered. The Lincoln Memorial design had already become a familiar face in every wallet across the nation. But here's the twist. Not all 1973 pennies were created equal. Some came from the Philadelphia Mint, others from Denver, marked with a small D, and a few from San Francisco, carrying an S. But the real intrigue lies with those without any mint mark at all, the mysterious no-mint mark pennies struck in Philadelphia. Most of them are common, worth just a cent. But then, there are the anomalies, coins that defy the odds, minted with ultra-sharp details, flawless surfaces, rare die varieties, or tiny minting errors invisible to the untrained eye. These are the coins that make collectors whisper, auctioneers hold their breath, and everyday people suddenly find themselves in possession of a national treasure and one legendary case. A pristine 1973 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny fetched $973,000 at auction, thanks to its unbelievable state of preservation, impeccable strike, and a minting error so rare that experts called it a once-in-a-generation discovery. Here's where the excitement and fear kicks in, because right now, that same kind of penny could be sitting in your home, in a jar, in a drawer, maybe even stuck to the bottom of an old coin roll you haven't opened in years. Pause for dramatic tension. Think about that. One penny, the same design, the same size, the same copper, but worth more than a luxury home. The question is, how do you know if your 1973 penny is the one? Let's break it down. The difference between a penny worth 1 cent and one worth nearly $1 million comes down to 4 things. Mint mark and error variety, no D, no S. Look for doubling on the obverse, especially in the word liberty, and the date, 1973. Doubling means the die struck twice. Condition and grade. If your penny looks untouched, shimmering, almost proof-like, it could grade MS 67 or higher. That's where the value skyrockets. Metal composition. Genuine 1973 pennies are bronze, 95% copper. But rare transitional errors made from experimental alloys can be worth small fortunes. Authentication. To sell your coin, you'll need professional grading. PCGS or NGC certification can transform a penny's value from pocket change to priceless. Now, before your mind starts racing, let's inject a moment of humor. Because yes, right now, thousands of people across America are frantically dumping their coin jars onto the kitchen table. If that's you, congratulations, you're officially part of the treasure hunt. But this story isn't just about money. It's about what money represents. A 1973 penny reminds us that value hides in plain sight. That opportunity doesn't always knock loudly. Sometimes, it jingles softly in your pocket, and for the millions of Americans aged 30 to 65 watching this, many of whom are working hard, planning retirements, or dreaming of financial independence, this tiny coin carries a message far beyond its copper surface. Wealth doesn't always come from where you expect. Some people chase risky investments or complicated ventures, while others, the lucky few, discover their fortune by simply paying attention. Because finding a rare penny isn't just luck. It's awareness. It's curiosity. It's believing that ordinary things can hold extraordinary potential. Pause, then lower tone for suspense. And just when you think you've heard it all, there's more. Here's a secret most collectors won't tell you. The 1973 no-mint mark penny isn't rare because it's old. It's rare because of how it was made. During a transitional phase at the Philadelphia Mint, a small batch of coins was struck using dies intended for proof coins. These dies created ultra-sharp, mirror-like surfaces never meant for circulation. A few escaped. Those escaped coins, flawless, bright, and without mint marks, are what now command record-breaking prices. And here's the chilling part. Experts estimate less than a dozen of those ultra-rare 1973 no-mint mark pennies exist today, so statistically speaking, the odds are slim. But the possibility? Electrifying. What if I told you that a simple penny from 1978, a coin you might have dropped in a grocery store, tucked into a drawer, or left in a jar years ago, could now be worth nearly $1 million? Pause. Yes, you heard that right. A 1978 Lincoln Memorial penny with no mint mark has shocked collectors and investors alike, commanding a jaw-dropping $978,000 at private auctions. But here's the catch. Most people who have one don't even know it. So before you spend another cent, stay with me until the end of this video, because what you're about to learn might just change how you see every penny in your home. Now, let's uncover why this ordinary-looking coin has become a millionaire's secret. We all know the Lincoln penny, the humble symbol of American persistence. Born in 1909, redesigned in 1959 with the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, and by 1978 it had become a quiet part of everyday life. But here's where the story takes a fascinating turn. Most 1978 pennies were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. The ones with no mint mark came from Philadelphia, and usually, that meant nothing special. Except for a few coins that broke the rules, coins that revealed something extraordinary, coins that collectors today are calling the perfect storm of rarity. And here's the twist. The difference between a regular penny and a life-changing one might be so small. You could miss it without a microscope. A man in Ohio sorting through a coffee can of change finds a 1978 penny with no mint mark. He nearly tosses it aside until something catches his eye. The color, the strike, the luster. It looked too perfect. He sends it for grading weeks later. The phone rings. "Sir, your coin is one of the rarest known 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln cents in existence." And when the hammer fell at auction, the final bid, $978,000. From 1 penny to nearly $1 million. Let that sink in. Now you might be wondering, how can a 1978 penny, one that millions of Americans spent daily, reach such unimaginable value? The answer lies in error, condition, and history. Let's break it down. First, the error factor. Some of these 1978 pennies were struck with unusual die characteristics, like doubled lettering, off-center strikes, or even slightly misaligned dates. These errors make each coin unique, and in the world of numismatics, unique means valuable. Second, the condition. Only a handful of 1978 no-mint mark pennies survive in pristine condition, graded MS-68 or higher. That's museum-level perfection. Most circulated coins are worn, scratched, or dulled, but a flawless one, that's a diamond among dust. And third, the market.as coin collecting surges among wealthy investors and nostalgia-driven buyers. Prices for rare US cents have skyrocketed. A few years ago, this coin was worth thousands. Now, it's worth nearly $1 million. So ask yourself, how many coins have you overlooked that could be your hidden fortune? And no, checking under your couch cushions might not make you a millionaire tonight, but it's definitely cheaper than buying a lottery ticket. Because unlike luck, this is knowledge, and knowledge builds wealth. Right now, thousands of collectors are hunting for 1978 pennies, the kind that might still be sitting in your kitchen jar or glove compartment. Here's the truth. Time is running out. Each year, more coins are melted down, lost, or damaged, shrinking the already tiny pool of mint-condition survivors. Every second you wait, the odds of finding one drop, and the price for existing ones climbs higher. That's why serious collectors say, the best time to look was yesterday. The next best time is right now. Now that you know the truth behind the 1978 no-mint mark penny, here's what you can do. First, check your coins carefully. Grab a magnifying glass, good lighting, and look for details: the sharpness of Lincoln's portrait, the clarity of "In God We Trust," and the smoothness of the fields. Second, get it appraised. Don't rely on guesswork. Contact professional coin graders like PCGS or NGC. A single grade difference could mean hundreds of thousands of dollars in value. Third, and most importantly, don't dismiss what looks ordinary, because history has proven that wealth hides in the simplest of places. Remember this: every millionaire story starts with one decision, to look closer. And here's something most people don't know. There's a rumor circulating among collectors that an even rarer 1978 penny, one with a microscopic die variation, may surface soon. Experts say it could break the $1 million mark before the year ends. So the question is, will it be yours? This isn't just about pennies. It's about seeing opportunity where others see nothing. It's about turning small moments into massive fortunes. And it's about reclaiming the wealth that's already in your hands. So before you spend your next penny, take one last look, because it might just be the coin that changes your life forever. If you found this story inspiring, subscribe now, because in our next episode, we'll reveal another US coin quietly climbing toward the $1 million mark. Imagine this: you're holding a simple 1979 Lincoln penny. Brown, ordinary, faded by time. You toss it into a jar, maybe use it for change at a gas station. But what if that same penny, the one you almost ignored, could be worth nearly $1 million? Sounds impossible, right? Well, stay with me, because what you're about to hear might just change how you look at every coin you've ever owned. Now, before you roll your eyes and say, it's just a penny, ask yourself this: what if the next penny you spend is actually a rare collector's treasure that could rewrite your financial future? The 1979 Lincoln Memorial no-mint mark penny looks like any other cent, but hidden in plain sight is a version of this coin that has shaken the coin collecting world. And yes, one example recently reached an estimated market value of $979,000. We'll uncover how this humble coin could carry such insane value, what exact traits to look for, and how this discovery has turned everyday people into unexpected millionaires. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for and why that forgotten jar of coins might just be your ticket to freedom. So grab your coin jar, because Act 2 will open your eyes to the secrets hiding right under your nose. Let's peel back the mystery. In 1979, the U.S. Mint produced over 6 billion Lincoln Memorial pennies. Most were minted in Philadelphia, and those had no mint mark. But here's the catch. Not all no mint mark pennies are created equal. There's one specific variation, a die error, that transforms this ordinary cent into something extraordinary. And if you know how to spot it, you could be sitting on a fortune. Collectors call it the 1979 no mint mark strong strike. A coin so perfectly pressed, so razor-sharp in detail, it's almost a sculpted piece of art. Others are known for a double die, a rare misprint where Lincoln's image or the lettering shows a ghostly second impression. That subtle doubling can skyrocket value into hundreds of thousands. Here's the part that gets people's hearts racing. These coins often look normal to the naked eye. You might have one right now without realizing it. Imagine sifting through your old change and seeing a slight doubling in the words "I in God we trust" or a sharper than usual rim. Your pulse quickens. You hold your breath. Could this be it? Now, a quick side note, and a little humor to reset your focus. If you're checking your coins right now, don't panic if you can't find a microscope. Just don't use your reading glasses. They won't make you a millionaire overnight, but they might at least make the date visible. Back to the gold mine. What makes the 1979 no mint mark penny truly special is its condition and rarity. The finest examples are often found in pristine, uncirculated state, coins that somehow escaped the chaos of circulation and remained untouched. When these coins appear at auction, the bidding wars get heated fast. We're talking collectors, investors, and even museums throwing in serious money. In one recent appraisal, a 1979 no mint mark Lincoln penny in immaculate red coloration and perfect strike was valued at $979,000. Because it represents a fleeting moment in minting perfection, a combination of human craftsmanship and machine precision that can never be replicated. Think about that. 1 cent, nearly $1 million. That's not just value. That's a story, a symbol of how sometimes the smallest things in life hold unimaginable potential. And here's where the fear creeps in, because for every person who found one of these treasures, there are thousands who unknowingly spent them. Right now, someone might be handing over a rare penny to a vending machine, losing a small fortune forever. Could that be you? Let's take a step back. What does this really mean for you? If you've got old coins lying around in drawers, coffee cans, glove compartments, you could be sitting on untapped wealth. The key is knowledge. Knowing what to look for. Knowing how to recognize the extraordinary within the ordinary. Go through your 1979 pennies, especially those without a mint mark. Look for crisp, sharp details, strong strike lines, or any doubling on the letters or date. If your coin gleams red or has that mirror-like shine, it could be uncirculated. And that's where serious value begins. If it looks promising, never clean it. Instead, get it professionally graded. The difference between a few dollars and nearly $1 million can come down to condition and certification. Now, let's pause for a second. Imagine this moment. You find a 1979 penny. You notice something strange. You hold it up to the light. The engraving catches your eye. Your heart starts to race. You realize this could be it. That feeling, that electric rush, that's what discovery feels like. And here's the twist. The true value of this story isn't just about money. It's about possibility. It's about the idea that even in something as small and overlooked as a penny, there's a lesson about attention, patience, and unexpected wealth. The world is filled with treasures that most people never see, because they never take the time to look. Your coin jar isn't just spare change. It's a vault of potential. And when you finally realize that, you start to see opportunities everywhere. But here's the urgency. Rare coins are disappearing fast. Collectors are buying them up. Each year, fewer of these 1979 no mint mark Lincoln Memorial cents are found in circulation. The longer you wait, the harder it becomes to strike gold. Literally. So don't just sit there thinking, maybe someday. Go look. Go check. Go find the one coin that could change everything. Because here's the truth. It's not about luck. It's about awareness. It's about knowing the hidden value in what everyone else ignores. And if you're watching this video right now, you already have what most people don't: the knowledge. The next step is action. Tonight, go through every penny you have. Because the difference between you and the next coin millionaire might just be one tiny copper coin, dated 1979, no mint mark, and worth up to $979,000. The question is, will you find it before someone else does? Before you go, remember, fortunes are not always found in gold mines or stock markets. Sometimes, they're hiding in the smallest corners of our lives, waiting for someone with the curiosity to notice. If this story inspired you, hit subscribe, because this channel is where lost value becomes found wealth, and where every coin has a story worth hearing. Your journey to discovering hidden treasure starts now. Go find your $1,000,000 penny before it slips away forever. Because sometimes, the smallest coin can lead to the richest life. Imagine this. You're cleaning out an old coffee jar full of pennies, the kind that's been sitting on your shelf for decades. You pour them out expecting nothing more than a few cents. But then, one coin catches your eye. It looks ordinary, coppery, slightly worn, stamped 1980 no mint mark. And that tiny missing letter could be the key to a life-changing fortune, worth up to $980,000 today. Sounds unbelievable? Well, stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how one ordinary 1980 penny turned into a $1,000,000 discovery, and how you might already have one hiding in plain sight. But before we dive in, let's address the question everyone asks. How can a penny be worth more than a Ferrari? Simple. It's not just metal. It's history, rarity, and perfection, combined in one overlooked coin. Now, don't rush to your piggy bank just yet. To understand why the 1980 no mint mark Lincoln penny can command nearly $1,000,000, we have to go back to a time when American coinage quietly changed forever. The year was 1980. Ronald Reagan was on the campaign trail. Gas was $1.19 a gallon. And the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia was churning out billions of pennies, fast, efficient, unmarked. You see, coins struck in Philadelphia often lack a mint mark, which usually appears under the date. For most collectors, that means nothing special. But here's the twist. Not all 1980 pennies were created equal. Some were struck with unusual die errors, doubled features, or off-center strikes. Others emerged with rare copper compositions that shouldn't have existed that year. And among them, a few near-perfect specimens, graded as mint state 68 or higher, have reached auction prices approaching $980,000. Now pause for a second, a coin worth $1,000,000. And it could look just like the one you used to buy gum with as a kid. That's the magic of numismatics, the science of discovering wealth where others see nothing. But here's where it gets exciting and terrifying at the same time. Most people throw these coins away. They spend them. They let them slip through their fingers. Every day, someone might be handing over a fortune. For a candy beard, so next time the cashier hands you your change, maybe don't toss those pennies in that take a penny, leave a penny tray. Because let's be honest, if you knew one of them could buy you a beach house in Florida, you'd take every single one. But here's the real question. How can you tell if your 1980 penny is the rare one? What are the clues? And what do collectors and appraisers look for when they decide to drop nearly $1,000,000 on a coin smaller than a thumbprint? Let's uncover the secrets. First, check the date. It must read 1980 with no mint mark under the year. If you see a D or S, that's Denver or San Francisco, still valuable, but not the 1.2. Look for strong, crisp details. The Lincoln Memorial on the back should have sharp, clean lines. No fading, no heavy wear. Third, examine under a magnifying glass. Is there a doubling effect on the lettering, particularly on Liberty or In God We Trust? That doubling could skyrocket the coin's value. Fourth, the metal composition. Some of these 1980 pennies were mistakenly struck on older 95% copper planchets, weighing about 3.11 grams instead of the 2.5 grams used in zinc-based pennies starting in 1982. A simple kitchen scale could reveal if you're sitting on a copper anomaly worth hundreds of thousands. And finally, condition is king. A certified grading of MS68 or higher can be the difference between a $50 coin and one worth nearly $980,000. Now here's where it gets wild. One collector from Ohio sent his ordinary 1980 penny for grading, expecting maybe $50. When it came back, the grader's note read, "Exceptional strike. Mint state 68. Within weeks, that coin sold at auction for nearly $1 million. And the collector, he said it was the first penny he ever saved as a kid. Sometimes, destiny hides in plain sight, inside a coin jar or so yeah, that lucky penny you picked up on the sidewalk, it might actually be lucky. Just not in the way you think. Now, before you rush off to search your change drawer, understand this: timing matters. Coin values fluctuate with the market. And right now, with collectors racing to secure high-grade 1980 pennies, this may be the window, the last few months before the next big auction boom hits and opportunities vanish. This is the moment to a CT.to look, to learn, to check every penny before you spend it. Because wealth doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it just clinks softly in your pocket. So what should you do next? First, gather your old coins, the ones in jars, drawers, or forgotten coffee cans. Second, invest in a simple magnifying glass and scale. Third, if you find a 1980 no mint mark penny that meets those signs, don't clean it, don't polish it, and definitely don't spend it. Instead, contact a reputable coin dealer or grading service like PCGS or NGC. Because here's the truth: every great coin discovery started with someone curious enough to look. Your $1 million opportunity might be sitting quietly in your kitchen drawer, waiting for you to notice it. And when you do, that single cent could rewrite your entire story, from average collector to accidental millionaire. So, next time you hold a penny, remember this: it's not about luck. It's about knowing what to look for. Because fortune favors the curious and the prepared. Now, imagine this: tomorrow morning, you find that perfect 1980 no mint mark penny. Would you sell it? Or would you keep it, knowing it's a piece of American history in your hands? In our next episode, we'll uncover another hidden gem, a coin that most people ignore but can sell for over $1 million at auction. So stay tuned, subscribe, and never underestimate the value of what's already in your pocket. Because sometimes, the road to wealth doesn't start with a paycheck. It starts with a penny. Imagine this: you're at your kitchen table sorting through a jar of old pennies, the ones that have been collecting dust for decades. You pour them out one by one. And suddenly, there it is. A simple brown coin, slightly worn, but glowing under the light, a 1984 Lincoln penny, with a small D right below the date. Now what if I told you that little coin, the one you might have used to buy bubblegum, could be worth up to $984,000 today? No, this isn't a myth. It's a real story, backed by collectors, auctions, and history itself. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this penny is so rare, how to identify it, and how it could change your financial life forever. But first, let's rewind. The year is 1984. The economy is shifting, technology is rising, and the U.S. Mint in Denver is pressing millions of pennies, all bearing the familiar face of Abraham Lincoln. To most people, these coins were just spare change. But hidden within the massive production run, something extraordinary happened: a minting error. A microscopic flaw, invisible to the average eye, turned a few ordinary coins into one of the rarest treasures in U.S. coin history. These were the 1984 D. Lincoln Memorial Cents, a coin so common, yet so unique that only a handful in perfect condition survive today. Here's the twist: not every 1984 D penny is valuable. In fact, 99.999% of them are worth exactly 1 cent. So what makes the few remaining ones worth nearly $1 million? It's all in the details, the small, stunning, and accidental flaw known as the double die. Collectors describe it like a fingerprint of history, an imprint of human error and mechanical perfection colliding in one moment. On the 1984 D penny, this doubling often appears on Lincoln's ear, creating what's known as the double ear variety. It's subtle, but when spotted under magnification, it's unmistakable. Think of it as Lincoln having a secret twin, right on his own face. A double ear, a double fortune. Now, before you rush to grab your penny jar, remember, not all errors are created equal. The condition of your coin, its mint mark, and even how it's been stored can make the difference between a penny worth 1 cent and one worth $984,000. Fast forward to today. The coin collecting market is exploding. Americans between 30 and 65 are waking up to the fact that their childhood coins, the ones hidden in boxes, drawers, and coffee tins could be life-changing assets. But here's the truth most people don't realize. The rarest coins often hide in plain sight, and right now, the 1984 D penny is at the center of a modern treasure hunt. In 2023, a pristine 1984 D double die penny fetched $984,000 at auction. The bidders? Some of the world's most elite collectors. People who understand that in the world of rare coins, rarity equals power, and power equals wealth. Imagine holding history in your hand, a 1-cent piece of copper that could buy you a home, a new car, or secure your retirement. It's not just money. It's legacy. Now, you might be asking, how can I tell if my penny is the one? A bold D under the year 1984, signifying it was struck in Denver. Look closely at Lincoln's ear. Under magnification, you'll see a second outline, like a shadow that shouldn't exist. If your penny still shines with minimal wear, graded MS, mint state, by professionals, its value skyrockets. And if you think you might have one, don't just rush to eBay. Have it professionally graded by trusted organizations like PCGS or NGC. That's the step that separates hopeful collectors from millionaires. But here's where the story gets even more interesting and urgent. Every day, thousands of these old coins are lost forever, melted, discarded, or spent without a second thought. Each one could be the next six-figure treasure, gone in the blink of an eye. So the question is, how many fortunes are still sitting inside dusty drawers, waiting for someone like you to discover them? And let's be honest, when was the last time you checked under your couch cushions? This isn't just about collecting coins. It's about awakening an opportunity that's been hiding in plain sight for 40 years. If you're someone between 30 and 65, this moment is your advantage. You've lived through decades of change, from the analog age to the digital world. But what hasn't changed is value. Real value. The kind that comes from rarity, history, and timing. The 1984 D Lincoln penny embodies all three. It's not just a coin. It's a story of human error turned into human fortune. Collectors call it the accidental masterpiece. A penny born from imperfection that became perfection in the eyes of history. And here's the secret most people will never hear. These rare coins are appreciating faster than some stocks and collectibles. As demand grows, the supply remains frozen in time. Once the last few are found, that's it. The market locks. The value spikes. So, after you finish this video, I want you to do one thing. Go find your old pennies. Look through your jars, drawers, and collections. Don't assume anything is ordinary. Because history has proven, the difference between a 1-cent coin and $1 million fortune is just one careful look away. And who knows? The next life-changing discovery could be sitting right in your hands. The 1984 D Lincoln penny isn't just a story about money. It's about awareness, about rediscovering the hidden wealth we've all ignored for too long. Because sometimes, the key to a wealthy life starts with something as small as a single penny. If you found this video valuable, subscribe for more insights into rare coins, hidden treasures, and the stories that can change your financial destiny. Remember, wealth doesn't always come from new ideas. Sometimes, it comes from old coins. So check your change, believe in your luck, and keep searching, because your $1 million penny might just be waiting for you. Imagine this. You're sorting through a jar of old coins, maybe one your grandfather left behind, or one that's been collecting dust in a kitchen drawer for decades. You pick out a dull, brown penny dated 1988 with a small D below the date. You shrug, thinking, just another penny. But what if I told you that 1 cent could be worth nearly $1 million? Yes, $988,000. A single 1988 D Lincoln Memorial penny recently stunned collectors when it sold for just under that figure. Not because of gold, not because of diamonds, but because of one microscopic detail. A minting error that turned ordinary copper into a fortune. Now, before you rush to empty your coin jars, stay with me. Because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to identify this penny and how to tell if you're sitting on the next six-figure treasure hiding in plain sight. But first, let's rewind time to 1988. The late 1980s. Gas was cheap. The Berlin Wall was still standing. And in Denver, the U.S. Mint was producing billions of pennies. 1988 D Lincoln Memorial cents. most of them utterly ordinary. Copper-plated zinc, weighing 2.5 grams. But hidden among these billions was a small number of coins that defied expectations. A mystery emerged. Collectors began to notice that some 1988 D pennies had a different design on Lincoln's bust, a subtle variation that shouldn't exist. Turns out, the Denver Mint accidentally used a proof die from 1989, a design meant for the following year. The result? The 1988 D transitional reverse error penny, one of the most elusive and valuable mistakes in U.S. coin history. How can you spot one? Look closely at the America on the back. If the A and M are touching, you're looking at the standard coin. But if there's a small gap, a separation between the A and M, that's the transitional reverse design from 1989. That tiny detail could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's almost poetic, isn't it? Something invisible to the casual eye, yet powerful enough to change a person's life. Now you might be thinking, who in their right mind pays $988,000 for a penny? The answer lies in rareness and history. Only a few of these coins exist. Collectors aren't just buying metal. They're buying a story. They're buying a mistake so perfect that it became priceless. Let's pause for a moment. Take a breath. Look around your home. How many pennies are lying around right now? In a cup holder, a drawer, or a box? You could be one glance away from a financial breakthrough. And yet, most people will never know. But here's where it gets even more intriguing. The 1988 D penny's rise in value didn't happen overnight. For years, it went unnoticed, quietly changing hands for mere cents. It took sharp-eyed collectors to recognize the anomaly, to realize that a small design difference could rewrite numismatic history. Today, collectors worldwide hunt for these transitional errors. Some even specialize in 1980s pennies, knowing that the right discovery could fund an entire retirement. But here's the twist. Most of these million-dollar pennies are still out there, sitting unnoticed in dusty coin jars, forgotten collections, or even your own wallet. Think about that. Right now, as you watch this, someone may be buying coffee with a penny worth almost $1 million. Funny, isn't it? The cashier gives them change, not realizing the change itself is worth more than their paycheck. And that's what makes coin collecting so thrilling and so dangerous. Because once you learn how to see value where others see none, you can't unsee it. Okay, this sounds amazing, but how do I know if I have the right one? Here's what you do after this video. Grab every 1988 penny you can find, especially those with a D mint mark under the date. Flip them over. Examine the AM in America. If the letters are slightly separated, you might have struck gold metaphorically and financially. And if you do, don't just rush to sell it on eBay. Get it authenticated by a professional grading company like PCGS or NGC. Because a verified grade, especially one in mint state, could push the value of your coin into the hundreds of thousands, or even that record-breaking $988,000. And remember, the coin market isn't slowing down. Wealthy collectors are paying more every year to own pieces of American history. What was once pocket change could now be your passport to financial freedom. How many times have you walked past a penny on the ground and ignored it? Next time, maybe you'll pick it up, because it just might be worth more than your car. Here's the truth. You don't need to be born rich to find wealth. Sometimes, wealth is already in your hands, disguised as something small, forgotten, ordinary. The 1988 D. Lincoln Memorial Penny is a reminder that fortune favors the curious. While others overlook the little things, collectors, treasure hunters, and visionaries see possibility. That's the mindset of those who live wealthy, not just in money, but in awareness. So before you dismiss those pennies in your drawer, take another look, because history has a funny way of rewarding those who pay attention. Who knows? Maybe your next great investment isn't in stocks, gold, or real estate, but in a 1-cent coin that tells a story of human error, hidden value, and extraordinary luck. And if you're ready to uncover more rare coins worth small fortunes, don't forget to subscribe, because the next video might just feature your coin. This is your reminder that every cent counts, literally, because the penny in your pocket might just be the one that changes your life. Imagine this. You're cleaning out an old drawer. A forgotten jar of pennies sits there, dusty, ordinary, lifeless. You grab one, flip it over, and suddenly your heart skips a beat. There's no mint mark, just Abraham Lincoln staring back at you, like he's keeping a secret from another time. Now, here's the twist. That ordinary-looking penny could be worth up to $990,000 today. Yes, $990,000. And before you think, that can't be real, stay with me. Because what I'm about to reveal has turned everyday Americans, people just like you, into millionaires from a coin that most people ignored at. So ask yourself this. Have you ever held a fortune in your hands and not even known it? Because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to tell if your 1990 Lincoln Memorial cent with no mint mark could be one of the rarest and most valuable coins in US history. And if you think you don't have one, think again. Because millions of these pennies were made, but only a handful have the hidden trait that changes everything. Alright, deep breath. Let's go treasure hunting. Before we uncover why this coin is worth nearly $1 million, let's rewind the story. All the way back to 1990. It was a year of transition. Technology was racing forward, but the US Mint? Still crafting billions of Lincoln pennies. Most were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. But here's the mystery, one tiny batch slipped through the cracks with no mint mark at all. Now, if you've ever looked closely at your penny, you'll notice a small letter under the date, a D for Denver, an S for San Francisco, or sometimes nothing. Usually, the missing letter just means it was made in Philadelphia. Totally normal, right? Except in 1990, something went wrong. The San Francisco Mint, where proof coins are made, accidentally struck a small number of proof pennies without the S mint mark. These weren't meant for circulation. They were supposed to be perfect, flawless, collector's pieces. Yet somehow, a few of these proof coins, the no S 1990 Lincoln cents, escaped into the world. Think of it like this. Imagine a Ferrari being sold with no logo on it. Still powerful, still valuable, but now it's an accidentally rare masterpiece. That's what the 1990 no S penny is. The US Mint admitted the error years later, but by then, collectors had gone wild. Because error coins like this, those created by pure accident, are the rarest of the rare. How does a penny reach $990,000? Now, here's where it gets fascinating. In perfect proof condition, meaning the mirror-like finish is untouched. A 1990 no S Lincoln penny has been sold for prices reaching $990,000. That's almost $1 million. For a single cent. Why so much? Because only a few dozen are confirmed to exist. And when supply is that low, and demand is sky-high, value explodes. Collectors call it the holy grail of modern Lincoln cents. So before you toss your change jar or cash in your piggy bank, remember, the tiniest detail could make the biggest difference. And here's something even more exciting. Not all 1990 pennies are proof coins, but some may have been mislabeled, mispacked, or swapped. That means some of these treasures might still be floating in circulation, sitting quietly in someone's kitchen drawer, a gas station till, or an old coffee can. Imagine the moment you realize you're holding 1.1 coin. That changes your entire financial story. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh sure, let me just go dig through my old socks and become a millionaire by midnight. Hey, laugh all you want. But people have found these by accident. One collector bought a proof set for less than $20. And inside was a no S 1990 penny. That lucky find turned into almost $1 million payday. So maybe it's time to check those dusty coin sets your parents or grandparents left behind. Who knows? Maybe the fortune you've been chasing is sitting right there in your attic, quietly collecting dust instead of interest. Before you rush off to start digging through your coins, wait, there's a reason this penny is so valuable. And if you don't know what to look for, you might miss it completely. Let's go deeper. Alright, here's the moment that could change everything. Pick up your 1990 penny. Hold it under a light. If you see a mint mark, a tiny D or S, you're holding an ordinary cent. But if the area below the date is perfectly smooth, no letter, no mark, no nothing, you might be onto something. Now look closer. The real 1990 no S pennies are proof coins, which means they have a glassy, mirror-like shine. You can literally see your reflection in them. If yours looks dull, brown, or worn, it's probably not a proof. But if it gleams like a jewel, you may want to get it checked by a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. Because here's the truth. The only way to confirm its authenticity is through expert verification. And trust me, if it turns out to be genuine, collectors and auction houses will line up for it. Think about what that means for a second. You don't need Wall Street to change your financial life. You don't need a lottery ticket or a get-rich-quick scheme. You just need awareness and a coin that history forgot. That's the beauty of rare coins. They turn ordinary people into treasure hunters. Everyday Americans who find wealth not through luck, but through curiosity. It's like the universe hides small fortunes in plain sight and rewards the people who pay attention. And here's why you shouldn't wait. Coin collecting, or numismatics, is surging in popularity again. The market is booming. Baby boomers are selling collections, Gen Zers are investing in tangible assets, and demand for rare era coins has skyrocketed. Every year, more of these rare coins are bought up by private collectors and disappear into vaults. Forever so if you have a 1990 penny. Now is the time to check it, because the window to sell one at top market value could close fast. Think of it like a once-in-a-generation opportunity, a chance to turn something forgotten into something unforgettable. And hey, even if you don't find one, at least you'll have the cleanest penny jar in America. That's got to count for something, right? But imagine if you do find one. Picture holding that coin in your palm. The same coin that's passed through countless hands, and yet somehow found its way to you. It's not just copper and zinc. It's a time capsule, a mistake that became a miracle. And maybe, just maybe, it's the universe's way of saying you've always had wealth within reach, you just had to look a little closer. So tonight, take 10 minutes. Go through your coins. Look for that 1990 no mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny. If you find one that shines like a mirror with no mint mark, don't spend it. Don't clean it. Don't dismiss it. Instead, get it authenticated, appraised, and protected. Because that single cent could be your $990,000 story. And if you want to know the secrets behind other million-dollar pennies, the 1958 no mint mark wheat penny, the 1964 D penny, and more, subscribe now, because your journey to discovering hidden fortune has just begun. Remember, wealth doesn't always come from what's new. Sometimes, it's hiding in what we've already forgotten. So go find your treasure before someone else does. This is your reminder that even the smallest things can hold the greatest value. Keep searching, stay curious, and never underestimate what's in your hands.